Start button.
Can you just give a few moments?
See it live. Is the technology working?
It is working.
It is.
Ready to go.
Kia ora everybody, welcome to this, the last meeting of the Vincent Community Board for this term. And we have a couple of gentlemen here for our public forum. So I'll invite Nigel to step forward and you can take a seat or stand, whatever you prefer. You have 5 minutes, sir.
And hopefully you're going to read this. Everybody's got a copy of that application for that.
Correct.
And it's pretty straightforward. We're a fairly young group. Just trying to find our way. This is will be our second spring of planting there. We've gathered a few members of the community around trying to extend this planting. I don't know if it will be known to Lower Management Reserve once. It must have been a very vital part of Alexandra. And latterly it's a four-wheel drive. So I'm shocked to say some of us we frequent it for various reasons. Until recently, we used to walk our dog there. It'd be a lot of ice skaters. There are 2 paddle boards on the lake. Plenty of people. There's still a lot of people walk up there and take them out like when it's sun, etc. I used to put my dogs there, but not there. And we wanted to look up a few people who also want to improve the quality of that reserve and do a bit more. So we got started on some planting, courtesy of Barry, Wills and Bert Kent and other councillors. Ad hoc advisory reserve committee. So we thought we would check in with them and try and see what they wanted to do and what we wanted to do for the and try and get them started on some of those things. So last spring we planted a few trees, got a few people come along, and autumn last year. This year we've got about 20 people together on the Bailey's 25, and we've got a few people come and plant over 40 trees. So we want to double that this spring if we can. So we're one of the big groups, I guess, in the area that we're just trying to improve the environment, public environment in this case, rather than private. And this application is for some funding for the farms. We also discovered in our very early inspection around in the area that there are endangered species there and threatening plant life, and more expert people than me have been to the site and identified some of those things. And we think that's probably a really good way of growing the community of interest involved in the reserve, and also people like professionals who probably should know more about the reserve, because one of the things that we discovered in our little bit of looking around is that actually the black margin is a significant wetland for the area, and so it's part of the city recorded biosphere that we need to take notice of and probably do more. We'd like to do sort of major things over the course of the time, like looking at another 4-wheel drive tracks across the area. We like to plant more trees, of course. None of those things are really sensible without knowing what about the decision about that reserve, which we support. And before that happens, we would really like to be able to know we're currently destroying pathways, etc. Just now, and to identify some of those ones in the area. The second half of our application is for a botanical survey. It's not an ecological survey. We're only looking for plants might be destroyed by the wild ecologists or other four-wheel drive activities there before they're currently gone. You might have noted in some of this application that we did discover Atriplex buchanan, which is one of those tiny little lime acid, is it acid ground? Anyway, salty ground.
So,
Yeah, which exists in lots of areas like around Central Otago, particularly on this public reserve. So we tried to protect that from more four-wheel drive tracks, that has, which has since been removed. So our second part of the application is specifically to see if we can grow the knowledge that we need to about this reserve and build a larger community of interest who's willing to put some time into it, take it to the more botanical side of the community, and see if we can contribute a little bit to an area that we enjoy and lots of other people do. But I don't think the council has yet any record of numbers of people who come to the reserve, so we don't know how many people we're influencing or being involved. And this planting will probably involve all the usual players who are currently involved in a lot of environmental reconstruction of our area. So having a wider net will improve our, contribution to the community, I guess. Anything you want to know?
thank you, Nigel. Members, any questions?
Do you have any suggestions, Nigel, for how this board could support your talk around broadening that net of people who are interested in supporting the vision?
Yeah, one of the things I asked some of the other environmental and tree planting groups in the area is, how about we collaborate with the Vincent Board and CODC generally to pull all these things together as a district-wide proposal instead of subdividing us off into little Manaburn group here and little tree planting group on the riverbank, etc. I see the council as a networking opportunity and a kind of coordinating group rather than the action group. And I think that building the community is what the council should be doing. And doing that as a whole biodiverse structure would be a really helpful way of building that community.
Your relationship with the Manaburn Dam Committee, it's fairly informal.
Absolutely ad hoc. We said
Very ad hoc.
we don't want to have any meetings. Just want
Or
to.
join your organisation tomorrow.
we just said, a few of us who got started said, let's talk to others who are involved. If they want to do something and we can get general agreement by informal methods, then let's get on with it.
You are liaising with Council's Parks and Rec staff?
Correct.
Yes.
Via the Manaburn Reserve Committee rather than directly. We had a meeting with them in June this year to talk about bigger plans. There's currently no management plan, development plan for the reserve. One of the many I'm sure you know about in the district who have yet to, that the council has yet to consult and designate and write up a bit like the half mile one. We need to go to the whole hog eventually. And the ecologists, the botanical survey would be a small step in that direction, really just build a bit of information.
Thank you. That's it. Cheers, Nigel. Thank you. Bruce.
Oh, thanks for letting me come and speak. I'm with Wider Theatre Productions, and we started about a few years ago, and just saw an opportunity really for the community to do something that other groups weren't sort of doing. It was sort of a niche sort of area. We really want to bring musical theatre, big Broadway style shows to the district. We started off as cheap as we could by doing Wakanda, which kept my rights, and toured the district and trial different areas and trial different audiences and try to build an audience, which worked really well. Ended up doing 17 shows, and then we then applied for Les Miserables rights. We turned down, but our second option was Jesus Christ Superstar. So we did Jesus Christ Superstar. It was a real success. We used old halls, we used no microphones. It's all old school theatre to try and bring back some of those old school musical theatre techniques that are being lost a little bit, and also to develop and give our talent a chance to actually grow and develop by getting lots of performances rather than the sort of the 5 to 7 that they might get through the usual theatre groups. So we did 16 shows of Jesus Christ Superstar at the Clyde Memorial Hall. and we had seat 80, we averaged 73 people, so per night. So it was a really successful show, and it really grew our group as a whole, and also in the wider sort of theatre community, we're now well established and pretty well known. And so our dream has always been to do Les Miserables, and of course we kept applying until we finally got it. So we got the rights a few months ago to do Les Mis, and then for us it's Les Mis is in terms of amateur theatre, it's the biggie, one that probably the most popular, the most successful show that we currently able to get rights for amateur theatre. So it's pretty massive. It's never been in Central Otago before. The last time it was anywhere close was Te Nui, where I did it there, and I think about a decade ago I did it in Queenstown. So it'll be very much a first for this area. It'll be very much a first on a small stage in an old community hall, probably the world, because I doubt whether it's been done in anywhere like that. And certainly in an old school way, so without microphones, without smoke and mirrors. Everything's done creatively rather than throwing money in it, because ultimately it's myself and Duncan Anderson's money. We don't have a lot of it, and I'm an artist, so we do as much as possible by being very creative with what we have. But to put on Les Mis, it's a lot bigger than Jesus Christ Superstar. There's bigger cast. There's actually musically a lot more tricky stuff to work through, and we would prefer to have some better lighting and all that sort of stuff to go into. So our pool of money we currently have is only so much, and it's a little bit what we made on Jesus Christ Superstar to go towards this, and we'd be liking to use a lot of that for getting new lights, getting projector, and backing. You get slides specifically for Les Miserables for the projectors, and that's a special projector for theatre, so it's not just a standard projector, short range one. So ideally we'd like help on as much as we can. We've asked for specifically to help with our rights, because for us the big expense initially is the rights expense. What you've got in front of you with the is just. It's the quote they've given us, but that's not it won't be the final amount. It'll be that or whatever's the most, whatever's the highest amount based on 16% of seats. So if we sell a lot of seats, we pay 16% to them on seats. But ultimately, we really just want help in that area, because the more we the more money we've got to put in other areas, the better the show will be ultimately. So that's really what we're trying to do, produce the best show we possibly can. We're hoping to do 20 shows, so that and not just providing for our audiences, because we've got really pretty well established audience base, but we want to encourage people from other areas to come in. I usually base the success of a show based on how many people actually want to audition. In Jesus Christ Superstar, we actually get on the phone and do a lot of ring-arounds to try to get people. We've have auditions coming up this weekend, which Les Mis, and we've currently got 43 people booked in. And they're coming from Dunedin, Invercargill, or all over the place, Queenstown. So that's for us a pretty good indication that it's going to be reasonably successful.
Thank you, Bruce. Members, questions?
No, you go ahead.
When you did it, I think it's a Tapanui. Was it well supported there in terms of?
Yes, absolutely. The Tapanui did 10 shows, and it was certainly very well supported. They almost had full house. So very well.
Thank you. And hey, I saw Jesus Christ, and it was great. So it's nice to see you guys are back again to do more. I'm just interested to know. You said you based one of the things that you base the success of your shows on is your auditioning and where people come from. Is there a way that you are able to measure where your audience comes from? So you get an indication of whether it's out of district? Or
yeah, there's no fine. I can't guarantee where, but but we know that, because we do know people from different areas, because we've been involved in the theatre around, not just here, but quite further afield. So when we have shows, I know of a lot of people that come from Invercargill,
Look at them.
from Gore, from Tapanui, from, yeah.